Hello everyone, Zernahat, and welcome back to another video. We're revision Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, where we have a look at what's been released this week. Yes, as I mentioned in one of my posts, I'm going to be starting doing videos and releasing them on a Friday. That's just how my schedule is. Long hiatus, but we're back. Thank you very much for everyone that stuck around. And without further ado, let's get into it. So this time around, we have content from Dragon Quest, and I'm fairly divided about it, and we'll delve into it very shortly as to why. So we'll start with delving into the summons, and we'll talk about the main stuff here. And what I'm going to raise everyone's awareness about is, first of all, one thing that everyone should avoid, and I hope you have avoided, and it's this, where is it? This Dragon Quest tagged guaranteed summon for 10,000 paid viz. Now that is a lot of money. I made the calculations, and it seems that it comes, you need to buy at least 2 packs to have that amount of paid viz, and that amounts to about 170 USD, which is, far out. You can, it's a lot of money, even if you are a big spender. That's a lot of money for a guaranteed unit that might not even be useful in the future, and we'll talk about it when we start discussing the units a bit later in the video. But I really hope that so far no one has clicked on and gone all the way onto this banner. Other than that, the rest seems pretty standard. From here, I think I wanted to delve into the shop, and what I found pretty ludicrous was the fact that despite a collaboration and the fact that we wanted to celebrate the collaboration, we only have this pack that is, what, 79, 70 bucks. That's a lot, man. Would have been nice to have something along the lines of 19.99, something that is a bit more affordable, similar to the packs, the Star Select pack. We're always talking about US dollars. I'm trying to do a conversion in my head. And what do we get for this much? We get 5,000 paid and 5 summon tickets plus stuff that you can get for free. And yeah, that's pretty steep. It's really not accessible for new players or for people that are actually coming into the game because of Dragon Quest tag. It makes me question, what's the point of this collaboration if it's not to get the demographic from that game? So yeah, pretty steep. Going further down, yes, I would have wished that there was a 300 paid with a summon ticket, as we have had in the past for previous content. Not present here, so that's a big bummer. In my opinion, I don't seem to have an incentive to pull for any of the units because there's no easy way to do it. In regards of stuff to grab, I've already grabbed what I think were the best deals. So the best deals so far that I found were this rainbow pack, where for only 5 paid you can grab 10 rainbow vision spheres. And let's go back onto the paid, and how many rainbow sphere did you get for 124? 15. So you see, like when we start talking about value for money, that is pretty steep. I really don't see the value of getting this pack for $79.99. So into Fireplane, a couple of things to talk about here. The first one is that we have a lot of collaboration events. So the Slime Fest is going to be pretty good. I think if we reach 30 million kill slimes, we're going to get some rewards globally. So 30 million slimes is going to be a global effort, which is actually pretty cool. It actually incites people to play the game, and it's only three attempts per day per person. So in here you get the chance to try Zoma and Psaro. I think these units could have been good if they would have been released at a different time. The timing is really bad because, as we have seen in JP, we are going to get a new leveling system, a new powering up system for units, which is called Awakening or Dream, something along those lines. And it will allow players, units to get up to level 140. And the first units that will be affected will be the collaboration units for March for Us, which will be Final Fantasy VII R, and the older units for in World of Division, such as Stern, Prince Mountain, things like that. So I really doubt that, unless there's going to be another rerun of Dragon Quest that these units are going to be affected by the level 140 upgrade. So I really hope that if you pull for these units, it's simply because you like them and not because you're cheating the meta, because although Psaro comes across as an evade unit and Zoma comes across as a negative status inflictor / debuffer, they might be short-lived due to the new mechanic coming soon. So from here, why don't we have a look at the new units kits and then have a quick assessment of whether they were well built or not. So let's start with Zoma. So what does Zoma come with? Psi Cannon, non-elemental damage large seems pretty good. That will allow him to be pretty versatile in regards of inflicting damage to more than one element, not just wind. So not a bad attack and only 29 AP. Then we have Oblivion's Presence, raises max HP of allies within area around self for 3 turns, and recover the amount of HP erased, and bestows bravery reduction to successful attacks for 3 turns, and bestow a barrier on self that reduces physical damage 3 times. Yeah, this seems very PvP focused if you want to reduce bravery to then inflict more damage onto your enemies. So not a bad attack, and not a bad buff. Then we have Kakrak, +1. Deals large damage to targets within range based on caster's magic and reduces AP and chance of inflicting frostbite for 3 turns. Another pretty good attack. Status inflicting. Frostbite is actually one of my favorite status effects. It can really change the course of battle, especially if you're fighting against a physical team or a low AP magic team. Definitely really good. Frigid Breath. Status will inflict sleep in a line. Power of Despair will bestow shell and haste removal to attacks on self, which is okay, nothing super crazy, but haste removal seems to be a direct anti-Velis tactic, anti-team with Velis in it. And Death Aesthetics, which is this level 120 skill, deal 3 hit damage to targets within range based on caster match and chance of inflicting slow for 3 turns. Not bad. Slow can also change the course of the battle, as we've experienced with Summer Jaden. When he inflicts slow on you, pretty much that's game over. And yeah, I mean, in AoE it's okay, but again, I think that this character would be really good for manual PvP rather than auto PvP. You really need to see which skills are going to be best applied depending on the team you go against. And disabling and enabling skills might not be the best way to go about it if you try to do auto, because, you know, what if you come across a guy that is not weak to frostbite, but the attack that inflicts frostbite deals more damage, therefore Zoma might prioritize that attack, you see? When we start breaking down how you want to use this character, it seems that we best use in manual, so you can use your best assessment to choose which skill and which status effects you want to inflict on your enemy. Sub-skill. We only have 2, mid-heal, which will heal enemies, which will heal the team in a single target manner, and then we have Freezing Blizzard. Deal damage to target within range based on caster match and lowers move by 1 for 3 turns and chance of inflicting immobilize for 3 turns. Yet again, another star inflicting skill. And immobilize, I think at that range doesn't make much sense. When we have a look at his stats over here, he does have a limited defense and spirit in the setup that is set up by the companion. It seems to have relatively good resistances to most stuff, so 25% slash, 35 magic, and 30 missile. I think those are pretty decent resistances, good enough to go close, but when we have a look at the defense and spirit stats, in regards to damage scaling, what are chances of him getting 1-shot or 2-shot? I'm gonna consider that as well. And nonetheless, pretty good HP value. So he seems to be along the lines maybe of gold bids, I'd say, but gold bids I think would do a better job in auto than Zoma, according to what we've just discovered. Now let's go on to Psaro. Psaro actually I think is gonna be the best choice if you really want to pull for a unit this week, but we'll find out why maybe you don't want to do that. So when we have a look at his stats, okay HP actually for a pseudo evade, actually for a real evade unit. Attack is decent, and no defense, pretty much no spirit, so there'll be no damage mitigation whatsoever if he gets hit. So let's have a look at his skills. So we have Crimson Cuts. That's actually a pretty interesting area of effect. High accuracy damage, large to targets within range, and it's AoE, so everyone in that area will be affected. Discontinuum +1 lowers target's defense for 3 turns, then deals non-elemental damage, and lowers attack for 3 turns, and significantly lowers healing power for 3 turns. This seems to be really good if you're going directly a team that has Velis and Snow in them. Snow can recover his HP once he has below 20% of his total HP reached, and Velis, he has Snow healing and those skills, so it should give you the upper hand. Hopefully Snow doesn't one-shot you with Strike, but you never know with Smite too. Next skill is Indomitable Spirit, which is his courage, and Falcon Slash, 2 heal damage. I will probably, it lowers accuracy, so I'll probably keep it, but it's very close range, so pretty risky if you ask me. Evasion skill is actually what I'll keep on all the time, and will raise agility and evasion rates of allies within area around self for 3 turns. And then Strike of Ruin removes courage from targets within range and destroys any barrier that reduces physical damage, then deals large damage. Pretty good AoE, and there's a bit of distance there, so I think that would be one of the most favored attacks from him. Now we go on to his sub skills, and he has Helm Splitter, which is AoE attack, pretty good range that lowers slash resistance, pretty good if all of the enemies are bunched up. It seems to be very map dependent, because we've had maps where your units are all spread out, and then we have maps where there's a little nook of space where everyone tries to bunch up because they don't have enough jump, and that would be pretty much the best way to apply the skill. And then Hatchet Man deals low accuracy critical to target, so this will always critical, but lowers the accuracy. The fact that it's low accuracy doesn't really makes much sense to me. Yes, there has to be a high reward, high risk, high reward to get a guaranteed critical, but I don't think that's the way to go. Now Psaro is a fire evade unit, so in my head he'll go very well with Valentine, Ildira, and Yuffie as well. Problem is he currently doesn't have any support whatsoever in regards of evasion, same thing that Valentine Ildira had since the time she was released. Let's see how is she gonna evade? There's no evade VCs that are specifically tailored to these guys. But in a couple of months, in 2 months, we'll get a Yuffie and her vision card, which are definitely tailored for evasion. And next week is very likely that we'll get Psaro's VC, which is I think a must pull if you want to have evade team going forward. The jobs that are affected by evade actually make sense for once in this job-focused, job-oriented vision cards rather than elemental-based vision cards. But yeah, I don't see a reason to actually go for Psaro unless you really like him. And yeah, he'll definitely be strongly penalized by the fact that he won't get his Dream Awakening anytime soon. So you have been warned. Now, going forward, I think that the best release of this week is Slime. Slime actually can equip everything. He has interesting skill, but he's gonna be the most versatile unit, not only in a lightning team, but you can slot him in other teams as well. For some reason, he does have a fire attack. I haven't built him yet, but he can equip everything. He's pretty much affected by almost every vision card, and that will open up your possibilities for limited battles as well. He's only 20 cost, so you can have in a cost 240 battle, you can have 2 cost 100 unit. and he'll do you good. His stats are not bad, and his master ability has slash resistant plus 50. So, oof, can't believe it. Can't believe how good he actually is. He's a little bit of a dark horse, but perhaps in the future I might do some guild battles where we have slime and see how actually good he is. He might be the next Zazan, who knows. So the Cobalt gloves, I think, are the best glove released so far because they penetrate magic attack resistance. So we've had gloves that penetrate spirit, we had gloves that increase magic attack, but we haven't had anything that pierces magic attack resistance. So I think so far these are the best gloves that you can give your Valentine, Salia, your Summer Helena. They're gonna be dealing a lot of damage to also magic tanks. 20 penetration is gonna be good enough to deal a lot of damage. So I really hope that you get at least more than one copy of this. Let's rate the updates. So positive signs. Slime, I think, is definitely the best released for a collaboration unit ever. And rarity, 20 cost, and he can equip pretty much almost every piece of equipment and be affected by every vision card. And although he's lightning, I think you can slot him in rainbow compositions as well. So definitely one of the best units to let you experiment different compositions. And another positive actually that I liked is that this time the collaboration has a storyline, although short, and they try to implement the Dragon Quest characters into the World of Division world, and I think they did a pretty good job. Fortunately, there's a lot of negative points that I found and I need to point out this time around this week. So the first one is the guaranteed units. So you'll need to spend minimum 170 USD to get 10,000 paid viz if you want to guarantee any of the unit. Plus, you also need to build them. So very, very expensive for 2 units that might be power crept in just 2 months when the 3rd anniversary of the global version is going to come out. Moreover, another negative is that Zoma is only gonna be good for manual PvP from what we've seen and the skills that he had, and also Psaro seems to fit only a specific meta. He currently has no VC support, and also for his elemental role he seems to be a fish out of water. Until next week when his VC comes out, you can't really use him to the best of his ability, so that's kind of a bummer. Again, guild map this time around was fire evasion, incentive for fire evasion, and we only have 2 fire evasion units with no VC support, so I haven't seen anyone use fire evasion we're in legendary now, so I can't imagine that from Aris and above anyone will be pretty adamant about making the most of the buff. And also another negative, bad timing for a collab, because here in global we are aware of what's happening in March, at the end of March, and these 2 units might be dead horses. You might be enjoying them just for 2 months, you might be competitive in PvP for 2 months, but then what? You have 2 fully leveled units that might not come out again in the future, and they're gonna be warming your bench. And with that is all. Thank you so much for tuning in this time around. We're a bit rusty. I hope that we've done a good enough job. All right, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. You guys take care and have a good one. Bye for now.